I am so honoured to have you guys as viewers. In the last 2 days, I've been contacted by people who work for the Suffolk Power Distribution Centre and people who've worked for British Telecom at Adastral Park. Let's go over what they've said and clear up a lot of my myths and legends and actually tell you today the ground truth of what's really going on. And some of it adds to the mystery. So a big shout out to Samantha. Samantha works in the power distribution industry, so does her relatives, even going back as far as her grandfather. And she knows everything about Orford Ness power, Cobra Mist power, Woodbridge and Bentwaters power, and very much about Martlesham Heath and Adastral Park for British Telecom power, and the whole of Suffolk. But first of all, she wanted to correct something that I got completely wrong, and that is about Sizewell A nuclear power station. We in Britain, she says, are very blessed in having something called the supergrid or the national grid. And Sizewell A nuclear power station is just part of the grid. It really doesn't matter if you run a steelworks where your electricity comes from. Your local or county level supplier of electricity will hook you up to the grid. So Sizewell A nuclear power station was built in 1955, is operational by the mid-60s, and it's part of Britain's grid. Now, it produces power at 400 kilovolts, totally useless to anybody who wants to plug anything in, but that voltage, that potential, that amperage is sent down a wire to the grid and powers Britain. There was never an extension cable from Sizewell A to Orford Ness, or Bawdsey, or Woodbridge, or Martlesham, or Bentwaters. That idea of mine was completely wrong. But we do need to understand how those places were connected. So this is how it works. You are the MOD. And you contact the national grid and say, we're opening up a secret radio facility that's producing a directed energy weapon on Orford Ness. We would really require 33 kilovolt supply. They went, okay. Well, that is a bit of a problem, actually, because Suffolk is rather rural, and the nearest substation to Orford Ness on the land could only really provide you with about 11 kilovolts maximum. So to provide you with 33 kilovolts, we'll have to upgrade that supply back to a big substation in Ipswich. And that's what they did. So Orford Ness, including Cobra Mist, at its peak, had 33 kilovolts from Britain's national grid, not Sizewell, and then to Ipswich, and then an upgraded supply to a substation on the land opposite Orford Ness, and then an undersea or under estuary cable to the Ness. And then on Orford Ness, there's various substations to transform the electricity from the 11 kilovolt supply down to mains power or three-phase 400, 500 volts, whatever they needed. Apart from Cobra Mist, who probably sucked it all in while they were doing directed energy weapons work. Who knows? But that's where the power came from. It doesn't come from Sizewell. It might as well come from Dounreay, because you're part of the national grid. Let's go through the other bases. Now, Bentwaters is very interesting. It needed a lot of power, and it didn't make any sense. Sam actually was involved in why Bentwaters needed power. During the Cold War, Bentwaters had these hardened hangars for fighter planes. These were designed to protect aircraft from blast damage, and they're steel and concrete, and have very large, heavy sliding doors. But you need to open them fast, so they had high-powered electric motors with gearboxes, and I suspect there was a way of opening all the doors at once. Now, that power drain on Bentwaters, and hence on Suffolk and the national grid, was big, so Bentwaters did need a lot of power, mainly for electric motors to open the hangar doors. It's all making sense. Martlesham Heath, British Telecom and Adastral Park has its own 33 kilovolt supply to a substation which is quite near Ipswich, and they have a dedicated supply. But she did mention a fantastic secret or mystery about Adastral Park and British Telecom. Martlesham Heath is about, 120 miles from London? There's a tunnel British Telecom have a tunnel, whether it's big enough to cycle, walk through or crawl through, I don't know, but they have a conduit big enough for a lot of cables directly going from a base in London to Suffolk. And then to end the power part of this update, before we move on to microwaves, Woodbridge. Well, Woodbridge keeps coming up. All my researchers keep pointing me towards Woodbridge. Forget Bentwaters, they say. What really went on strange happened at Woodbridge. And Sam confirms something very interesting. So Bentwaters was sold. You can buy a hangar, put your classic car collection, open an antique store, run a restaurant or a museum. But Woodbridge is still MOD property and is still being used by the Army. The Army was recently testing at Woodbridge an Airbus transport plane, and they wanted to test its off-field or soft-field capabilities. So if you look at a new photograph of RAF Woodbridge, which is now an Army base, there's a soft field runway parallel to the east-west runway for testing off-field capabilities of this transport plane. But the power supply to MOD Woodbridge, which is still in military hands, is definitely strange. Whereas Bentwaters had a single substation providing base power, Woodbridge has triple redundancy. It's fed by 3 power supplies from 3 separate Suffolk substations. Now, it could just be boring. It could just be that they split it up. The wires make sense to go in 3 ways. But I think it also possibly points at redundancy being required. If one system failed from a local substation, you had another 2 available. That's the kind of thing you would need for maybe a data farm, a big computer, or a communication center. MOD Woodbridge is still in government control. I don't know why it requires 3 dedicated power supplies. So swiftly moving on to microwaves. And again, thank you very much. These anonymous people who work for British Telecom, who worked at Adastral Park, who actually explained what things are. Again, if we go back to this picture, this tower is the microwave tower. And I said that it contained the world's biggest magnetron. It doesn't. It's hollow. Its only purpose is to hold up this section where the magnetrons and the air conditionings are. And then we'll go on to this section above, which is very important. So the magnetrons are probably 3 to 5 foot high, and they need cooling, and they're all up here. This is just a support structure, and it's now not being used, and it's used for storage. This is where the magnetrons were, and up above is where you'd put the antenna for the microwaves. So I got something else wrong. I said that magnetrons send out lobes, and I was looking at the directions of this building to see what it was pointing at. They don't. A magnetron works by having a cavity, and in it is a collecting wire or antenna. The microwaves, at whatever frequency you're making them at, and it could be various frequencies, flow up the wire or up a waveguide, and then you hook them up to an antenna. Horn antennas and parabolic dish antennas, which were actually put on the circular top of this building. Do you remember Post Office Tower had all these horn antennas and then dishes? But today they don't have any of them because for some reason microwave transmission is less popular. I think it's superseded by heavily encoded fiber optics. But this guy went on to say today the top section is just an office and is used as a British Telecom control centre, but access to the tower is restricted. When it was operational, it was actually called Orion Tower, and I think today it's either called Pegasus or Phoenix Tower. So very interesting. It's not what it seems, but of course it did have the power into Adastral Park to do high-powered magnetron microwave experiments. And it's absolutely true. I heard from somebody who said our TV was often disrupted at night, and we would complain to British Telecom, who would come around and fix it. So they did most of the high-power magnetron microwave tests from Adastral Park at night. So thank you very much, especially to Sam, who's answered every question I have about power distribution in Suffolk. She really knows her stuff. And everybody at Adastral Park, this isn't classified, this is history now. I'm just interested in what they used the tower for and how they propagated microwaves. You know, because that's the kind of thing that researchers do. I don't just research a flying saucer. I like to research the big picture. What's round Rendlesham? What really happened? And more and more and more, people are pointing me to look at RAF Woodbridge. So that's my update. Sizewell Nuclear Power Station fed the national grid, and the national grid fed all these bases and laboratories, not directly. And Adastral Park definitely did microwave research back in the day. Thank you. The truth is out there.